Oh.
That works.
Hey, that's the best thing ever.
Oh, it's recording too.
Jesus.
It's a GoPro, isn't it?
It is.
I'd like to say congratulations to everyone.
And I should say something.
Oh my god. I have a very interesting group.
Hey, that means they care, right?
They do.
Like, just like, she got the flag too. Look at it. She got
You got your whole paparazzi.
I do.
Coppertone.
I know.
the
They got me. They're there for me.
Okay, we want to welcome our friends and family. Just to let you know, we don't really like food or drinks in the courtroom because we've had one too many spills. So if you do have something, make sure it is closed, or you can try closing it or take it back outside. We do have our dish cans out there. You can finish it out there. The judge does come in. Please remove all your hats as a sign of respect. And cell phones, we all have them. Please make sure they're on silent. A lot of times even vibration will distract us from the ceremony. You're welcome to take pictures. We just need to be mindful of your flash. Take it off. It is pretty bright in here, and the flash tends to blind us. Up in the front, we will give you opportunities to have pictures while your friend or your loved one is taking the oath or during the ceremony. So you'll be able to move around then. We do ask if you do have children, if they do get a little rowdy, if you please take them outside to not take away from other people trying to enjoy the ceremony. Once they've calmed down, you're more than welcome to bring them back in. We have the Anchorage Women's Club who is outside. They provide refreshments and they help you filling out your voter registration. So stop by and chat with them. After the ceremony, the judge and our speaker will stay and stand back here by the flags, and you're welcome to line up against the wall and have a picture with them, and you know, by yourself or with your family. That is fine. The new citizens were instructed again, be careful on what you put on Facebook, Instagram, social media. Do not put your loved one's certificate on there because all their information is on there. So be mindful of that. If there is an envelope, and maybe just take a picture of the front of it. To the new citizens, there'll be a time where they ask you to come up and introduce yourself to that microphone that's standing there by the gate. You're welcome to move it. They do not break. Don't be trying to get on your tippy toes or bend down on it. It won't break. We'll hear you. So just be comfortable and enjoy the rest of the ceremony. I will let the judge know that we're ready.
Thank you.
morning. Please be seated. We are in session, and I'd like to begin by welcoming everyone to this very pleasant proceeding. As you just heard, my name is Gary Spraker. I'm the Chief Bankruptcy Judge in the district, and it's my great honor to preside over this naturalization ceremony where I'm told we will now induct 48 of our newest citizens from 22 countries. We are gathered here today to witness you swear your allegiance to the United States of America and to celebrate the beginning of your new lives as American citizens. Many have told me, and I have pleasantly discovered over the past couple of years which I've been doing this, that this is truly the happiest occasion that comes forward in this court, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. It's wonderful that you've packed this room so tightly. I don't think I've ever seen so many people in the courtroom, but it's wonderful that you could all join us for this celebration. So as part of this ceremony and the uniqueness of it, we will take the unusual step this morning of suspending two important rules that generally apply to any federal courtroom. We generally do not permit photographs, nor, shockingly, do we permit applause. But in this case, today, we will allow both. There will be several opportunities for some great pictures of the new citizens, both as a group and individually. We will try to point out those opportunities. It may be a little tighter than usual, so we'll ask for everybody's patience and understanding, but we'll try to cue you in when we think you may want to take some pictures. We are fortunate here to have some guests here with us today. I understand that Brent Schultz from Congressman Young's office is with us, as well as Carrie Keel, who is joining us from Senator Sullivan's office. We are also privileged to have John Parsi joining us today to give us a presentation and his remarks in a few moments. Following this ceremony, the Anchorage Women's Club will host a reception for you, our newest citizens, and the families outside in the lobby. This is important. You'll hear much more about this probably through the proceeding. But a representative of the club will also be present there and will be able to register to vote as well. And as I have told every class of new inductees, I cannot think of a better way of you to start your citizenship than by putting it into action and registering to vote. So we begin, as we usually do in these proceedings, with a very special treat. It's our honor to have the Alaska Sound Celebration performed under the direction of Alice Devine, and I'll ask them to come forward and perform.
For some of you, it's the culmination of a lifelong journey. For others, a more recent one. You have different reasons for choosing to become American citizens, but you share a desire to realize your dreams and achieve your goals. You bring with you unique cultural diversities and independent philosophies that enrich our community. On behalf of the members of Alaska Sound Celebration here today, it is a privilege to share this ceremony with you and an honor to say welcome to you, our fellow Americans.
Thank you very much. We now have the honor to hear from our guest speaker. John Parsi works at Davis Wright and Tremaine, a local law firm, as an attorney, and serves on the board of Alaska Common Ground. He received his law degree from the University of Michigan and his PhD from Arizona State University. He himself is a first-generation immigrant. He moved to Alaska in 2010 to clerk for what was then Justice Morgan Christian, now a judge on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Mr. Parsi.
First of all, congratulations to all of you, the 48 new citizens of the United States of America. This is a great opportunity, and as Judge Spraker was saying, oftentimes we as lawyers don't get very many opportunities to be liked. So please take this opportunity to enjoy us as lawyers, because we get to do something that is really both meaningful to us and something that I personally have great value in. I want to talk about two really important things for me. One is my story, my journey, how I came to the United States and what I've done since then. And then second, I want to talk about why it's important, I think, for all of you to be as involved as you can in your communities. Unfortunately, we live in a time where a lot of bigotry or divide among people in the United States has occurred. And some of you may have faced that, and others of you have been lucky and have been spared from facing discrimination or prejudice. My story is one where I did face those controversies, and unfortunately it's become greater and greater part of our current political and social rhetoric. Oftentimes, because of that, it becomes difficult for us to share our stories with other people. And that was my situation. When I was a kid, I was born in London, England. 3 months after that, I moved back to Iran, which is the country my parents are from. And I was born right in December 1979, so right when the nation of Iran was undergoing the Islamic Revolution. And my family wasn't Muslim. We're part of a small religious minority called Zoroastrians. So my parents had, kind of on purpose, decided to go to London when my mom was pregnant, so I was born there. But unfortunately at that time, the British government wouldn't give refugee status to my father. So my mother and I could stay, but my dad couldn't. So we returned to Iran. My father had previously worked for the United States and British governments as a translator, speaking English and Farsi. After about 3.5 years, the situation in Iran got pretty bad. As some of you may know, in 1981, the nation of Iraq and the nation of Iran went to war. And as a child, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, hearing air raid sirens going off and running out of my house to see our neighbor's house demolished by a bomb. So it was at that time that my parents made the decision, hey, it's not a great place for us to live. So my mother contacted a friend that she had in Italy and had a doctor there who performed surgeries to say that my brother, who had been born in Iran, required surgery for his asthma in Sardinia, which is a small island right off of Italy, part of Italy. And they faked this paperwork because there was no surgery to repair his asthma, and my family got on a plane without my father to fly to Italy. My mother remembers getting on that plane and throwing off the hijab, the traditional headscarf that Muslims in Iran are meant to wear, but all women are at this point, and ripping up her Iranian passport, saying she would never go back. My father remained in Iran for another 3.5 months before he was able to find a way to trek to the Turkish border and escape. Because at that point in Iran, having worked for the United States government, there was a price on his head. The government didn't want him to leave, and they were, in essence, prosecuting him for having had any kind of work with the United States government. So about 1.5 years later, my father finally made it to Italy. In that time, between the 3.5 months that it took him to get out of Iran and into Turkey, he was held in a Turkish immigration camp, where because he knew English, he worked in a hotel as a bellboy and met lots of different people, one of whom was an American citizen who helped him get forged paperwork so that he could finally escape and make his way to Italy. I spent almost every morning waking up and asking my mother, when am I going to see my dad again? I just had no idea. I came to the United States as a 6-year-old, and the way that I learned English was to sit outside of a classroom at the American Christian School in New Jersey and read out of a dictionary every day until I could speak English well enough to be able to be in the classroom. Then we eventually made our way to Arizona, and that's pretty much where I grew up from 2nd grade. But I remember as a kid being profoundly and deeply ashamed of being a refugee, as someone who sought asylum, as someone who was new to the United States. I looked different. My parents spoke with an accent. My cultural backgrounds were different. The journey that I had taken was much different than many of the people I was surrounded by. I remember kids calling me Saddam Hussein, which was pretty ironic given that part of the reason why we fled Iran is because Iraq, where Saddam Hussein was a leader, was a country that attacked Iran and was one of the reasons why we had to live. But racism and prejudice doesn't have reason. It's not logical. People say and do these horrible things, unfortunately, because they don't know any better. And so anytime I would talk to anybody, I would want to reveal what my ethnic, cultural background was, what my history was. And the moment that I realized that it was really important was months later when my youngest brother was born in the United States. We were going to a Persian restaurant, and he ordered a pizza, and we all said, hey, why don't you want to try rice and kebab, the other food that we normally eat? He said, I'm not like you, I'm not Persian, I'm an American. And I sat back and I thought, wow, how did we get here? How did we get here where we want to deny our journey, deny what we went through, the struggle we had all gone through to make sure that we could come to the United States, a country that we love. And believe me, my father loves the United States probably more than anybody I know. 4th of July is his favorite holiday. He hangs up the flag, he celebrates, he cooks for about 400 people, and maybe there's 10 people who are attending our barbecue. And I realized that all of this, all of those moments of people talking on the phone with my father and screaming, what are you saying to him? Or going to a bank and people telling him, go back to where you came from. Or hearing slurs, or even having great accomplishments. I remember in high school I did speech and debate, and one year I was in the final for the state championship, and 2 older women came up to me afterwards and said, you did really well. I didn't know one of your people could speak so well. Those kinds of moments made me feel like less of a person, like less of an American. But the thing is, that you all have these stories about your journey to become an American citizen. For some of you, that path may have been easier For all of you, it was a choice. Some of you suffered through war, religious persecution, other forms of persecution. You made the active decision to become Americans. The vast majority of people in this country came from somewhere else. In Alaska, we're only speaking about Native Alaskans who were born here and whose parents and lineage can be found and tracked back. So all of us have that history and that story. So I implore you to share your stories with your children, with your friends, with your coworkers, because it's important for people to know and humanize the immigrant experience, the journeys we've made, the sacrifices we've made. Coming to a new country where you know no one, where you don't know the language, where you don't understand the culture, and adapting and becoming part of that culture. Remember that in Alaska, we have 2 of the zip codes with the greatest cultural diversity in the United States. 8 of our elementary schools and 3 of our high schools are the most diverse high schools and elementary schools in the country. There's over 100 languages spoken in the Anchorage School District. So celebrate who you are and the path you took to come to the United States. Second, I would say, serve. And service doesn't mean simply being in the military, though for those of you who are, or those of you in the audience who are, thank you for that service. But service means being involved in any way and in every capacity you can be. And the easiest way to do that is when we leave and you go to that to get some punch and cookies, please register to vote. And vote in elections, because it matters. Iran is having an election today where out of 100 candidates who apply to be president, only 2 of them are on the ballot. Our elections mean something, so get involved. Get involved in public service. All the members of the court today, from our marshal to our judge to our assistant, are all people who decided to give up probably more lucrative careers in the private sector to work for the United States federal government. The same is true for our teachers, our firefighters, our police officers. Those who work for state government are often making sacrifices to make those decisions. So that's another way you can serve. But probably the easiest way beyond just voting is to share your story. Get out in your community, know your neighbors, interact with them, share your foods, your music, your culture, because those things have a significant impact in people understanding one another and connecting us. You're part of the great fabric of the United States, and that's something to value. Each one of us are integrated in ways that make this country great, and we need to remember that. So, congratulations, remember to tell your stories, and remember to be involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Curran. At this point in time, we'll move to the presentation of the petitioners. And I would like to call upon U.S. CIS Officer Brenner to please present the petitioners for admission as citizens to the United States of America.
Thank you, Your Honor. I wish to present to you these 48 candidates for naturalization. Each has filed an application for naturalization which has been approved by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Examination of each candidate by a USCIS officer establishes that he or she has lived within the jurisdiction of this district and has been a person of good moral character for the statutorily required period of time, usually 5 years. Each has demonstrated that he or she can read, write, and speak the English language, or is otherwise exempt from those requirements. And each has demonstrated a knowledge of the history and government of the United States. On behalf of USCIS, I recommend that you establish the date of naturalization by administering the oath of allegiance to them. In addition, I move that the court grant the individual name changes for each candidate who has so requested.
Thank you very much. The court will grant the name changes as requested. the oath. And I'll ask the Deputy Clerk to administer the oath in just a moment. But as promised, this is one of those photo opportunities. So we will ask all of the candidates to please stand and recite the oath. This is a wonderful photo opportunity. If you would like to move to the front, ask that you share the space with the others that may want to capture this moment, but you're welcome to come up into the well and try to get a picture during this period.
So please, citizens, can please stand. And friends and family, if you want to move around, you can come to the front to get a better view of your friend or your loved one. Somebody wants to do so now. So the new citizens, the oath of allegiance is behind your pamphlet, and so you can turn around so you can follow along. If you citizens, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby declare on oath or affirmation that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
I hereby have the honor to admit the petitioners as citizens of the United States of America and approve the name changes as requested. Let me first return the name changes and signatures, and now I invite you as citizens of the United States to join me. Everyone will please rise and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Would now like to honor and commemorate your naturalization with a certificate and personally congratulate you. So we will ask you to form a line, come to the center of the well. Before you do, we have a microphone set up, and we'll set it up. Please state your name, let us know from where you are from, and if you care to share how you feel in a short statement, you're more than welcome to do that, because this is, as you have heard, and it's been said, it's such a meaningful day. We want to give you a chance to do that. So we'll start, and I'll ask Mr. Parsi to join me in this ceremony.
meet so many great people that have me there for me. I also want to throw congratulations to one of you guys for making it this far. And God bless America and everybody in it. Thank you so much.
Just like to congratulate everyone. This is indeed a long time coming. I'm very happy, and now we can go and travel the world.
Hello everyone, I'm Urvashi Curran. I'm from India, and today I'm super excited and proud to be a United States citizen. Congratulations to everyone, and celebrate the day because we all know how much it means to us.
Hello everyone, my name is Peace. I'm from Nigeria. I'm happy to be a citizen of the United States. I thank God for this great opportunity. Thank you everyone.
My name is Nesbella. I'm from Denmark. I am very excited to be here today. Congratulations to everybody, and I'm ready to vote.
Hello everyone, my name is Chloe from Philippines, and God bless America.
Hello, my name is Hindi Kim. I was born in South Korea. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dodi from the Philippines. And first of all, I would like to thank God and especially my wife also. If not for her, I won't be here. Thank you, and God bless America.
Hello, my name is Ushi. I come from China. Father to marry my husband. So I'm so happy to be American. Here has so much opportunities, and I can make my dream come true in here.
Good morning, my name is Alvin Rollison. I'm from Germany. I need to thank my husband for standing by my side through the whole process. Congratulations.
Hi everybody, my name is Anuska, and I'm very happy and very nervous as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeffrey. I'm from Jamaica. I just want to thank the court, thank everyone who came to support all of us. I'm very happy to be a United States citizen.
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm from Mexico City, and I'm really excited.
I'm from Taiwan. I'm so glad my husband from here, and my company is working for shipping to ship the salmon all over the world. And Alaska salmon just started catching yesterday. Hope everyone enjoyed the salmon.
It's really nice to be here.
Hola a todos, buenos días. Mi nombre es Emilio Antonio Martínez Gómez y vengo de República Dominicana. ¡Que viva América!
나는 한국서 왔습니다. 나이 90에 미국 시민권을 갖게 돼서 대단히 감사하고 고맙게 생각합니다. Thank you very much.
My name is John. Yeah. Thank you very much.
My name is Rita Lavan from Philippines and proud to be a citizen.
Hello everybody, my name is Amor Lapan from Philippines, and God bless America.
My name is Tony Cristina Cello, and finally, after 7 years of being a U.S. alien, I am now a U.S. citizen. Mabuhay America. Thank you.
Hello, my
Maria Portillo from El Salvador. Congratulations everybody and thank you for being future part of this country.
My name is Olivia Lagasca from the Philippines. This is a most memorable day for me. Thank you.
I'm Jason Lim. I'm from South Korea. It is a happy day today. Thank you.
My name is Jeffrey. I'm from Peru. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations to everyone. My name is Mr. Maston. I'm from the Philippines. I'm just happy to become a citizen of this country. God bless America.
I'm Amina from Tunisia, North Africa, and I'm happy today.
My name is Alejandro. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. First of all, I want to thank you all for everything. Secondly, congratulate everyone. And lastly, I would like to thank the United States for giving me the opportunities that I have for everything that I have done. And I look forward to representing the U.S.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex and I'm from the Philippines and been in America for a little over 10 years and I just want to thank my mom for bringing me over here. Congratulations everyone.
Good morning, my name is Angelica and I'm from the Philippines. I'm sincerely happy and I'm sincerely thankful to be a citizen of the United States. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ricardo and I'm from El Salvador. Thank you to everyone here, my friends, my family, and God bless America.
Hello, my name is Isabel. I'm from Venezuela and I'm really happy to be a U.S. citizen now. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Beatrice. I am from Switzerland. And thank my husband for having me here. And I will vote.
Hello, my name is Levi. I was born and raised in Israel. I'm glad to be here today, and I want to say congratulations to all of you. Thank George and all the staff of different offices for the amazing work they do every time they come. I want to thank my family, my wife, she was born in Alaska, and friends who came to be with me today at this special day. Thank you, everybody.
My name is Genevieve and I'm from Philippines and I'm very happy and very excited. My heart is pounding so much. And thank you everyone and congratulations. I'm proud to become an American citizen.
Hi, my name is Roseanne. I'm from the Philippines as well. And I'm very thankful for this opportunity. I just wanted to congratulate everyone as well.
Hi, I'm Joji Tabarra. I'm from Philippines, and I'm very happy and proud to be a U.S. citizen. God bless America.
Hello, my name is Stanislav Kulikowski. I'm from Ukraine. Thank you for all of me. Thank you for everything. God bless America.
I'm Naturalized from Philippines, and I'm working at McDonald's for 7 years. God bless America.
Hi everyone, I'm Salad Spiritu from Philippines. I'm happy to become a U.S. citizen and thanks to my mom.
Thanks everyone for saving us really. Thanks America. I'm a very American citizen.
My name is Noelda Medina Rodriguez and I'm from Mexico. And congratulations everyone and I'm very happy to be a U.S. citizen. And thank you very much for everything.
My name is Rosalina Kaufman. I'm from Indonesia.
First of all, I thank to my God for this privileges and opportunity to become an American. And I'm excited to be here and very proud to be an American. God bless America.
Good morning, I'm Veronica from the Philippines. Thank you.
I'm from the US.
Hi everyone, I'm Sheila Reed, and I would like to dedicate my citizenship to my husband and my daughter. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Elsie Ramo. I'm from the island of American Samoa. I'm a United States national, but I'm now a United States citizen. Usually this whole room will be filled with my family. While we brought a special team, my husband and my son. It's good enough for me. Thank you so much.
All right, the only thing holding you up from cookies and registering to vote are my closing remarks. I have to confess, it's probably, I think it's one of the harder acts to follow after Mr. Parsons' comments. And unfortunately, I think he stole much of what I hoped would be my thunder, and probably did it in a much more eloquent way than I will be able to. I'm going to go off script for a moment just to make some observations. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and you see some patterns here. There are certainly themes that repeat every speech I hear, and everything I observe, and it really strikes home. But what I will try to say is that, first of all, again, let me offer each and every one of you who's just become a citizen my most heartfelt congratulations. We'll get to the point I want to make in a moment. But on this occasion, it is only right to look back and to remember that our family founders, mine and now yours as well, were also immigrants. The first naturalization law was passed in 1790, just 14 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Many have spoken of the inherently vital role that naturalization plays in our country's story. In a similar ceremony in 2015 for naturalization of new citizens, the speaker there summed up the oft-forgotten reality that, quote, "We are born of immigrants. That is who we are. Immigration is our origin story," end quote. Another speaker at another naturalization more recently summed up the vital part the naturalization these naturalization ceremonies serve to affirm a simple fundamental truth for our country, that our American journey, our success, would simply not be possible without generations of immigrants who have come to the shores from every corner of the globe. We say it so often, we sometimes forget what it means. We are indeed a nation of immigrants. The point that I wanted to make and refer to a moment ago is that I am always caught off guard at how emotional this proceeding is. Not only for you who just became new citizens, but for the speaker, for me, and for everybody who participates in this proceeding. I have talked with other judges and have been relieved to find out that I am not alone in this observation. I have seen the emotion that others presiding over the ceremonies bring to it. I have read their speeches, and it is reflected in their writings. This has caused me to think about this quite a bit, and I suspect that though we are here today to celebrate your accomplishments and your change in life, this allows us, this ceremony, the oath that you have just taken, the Pledge of Allegiance that we have just made, gives us a rare opportunity for us who are citizens, have been and always have been in particular, take our citizenship for granted to review what that actually means on a real and concrete basis. Though we are thankful to be in this great state and indeed this great country, in our day-to-day lives, it is hard to truly appreciate what this means, what citizenship means in the bigger picture. Today, it is brought clear and made whole. To see you in some small part allows us to reflect what our ancestors, somewhere in our lineage, has done and traveled to be at the same point in time that you are today. As new citizens, you have just completed this journey, and indeed, journey is one of the most repeated themes in these naturalization ceremonies. For you, this represents a conclusion. For me and others, it is a wonderful reminder that we are only here because our parents, our grandparents, or some ancestor made a similar choice, traveled the same path, spoke the same words that you have just spoken. Participating in this ceremony reminds us forcefully how fortunate we are to live in this country, whether by accident of birth or by choice. For you that have just become citizens, it is a moment to recognize and appreciate what you have accomplished, to look back at that path traveled. As Mr. Parsi indicated, for some, that path may not have been difficult, and the change that comes from today's proceedings may not be very different from the past day, months, years. For others, this may well represent a life-changing event that secures for you and your family a future free from oppression, war, or other conflicts. Regardless of how big or small that change may be, it is one that will not alter not only your life, but those who will follow you. And as you leave here today, the focus turns from the past to the future. A brighter future, hopefully, because of the opportunities that citizenship provides and affords. Equality of opportunity and freedom. It is our sincerest hope that the opportunities you will find here for you and your children and their children will change your lives for the better. You enter this room citizens of 22 different countries, and it always amazes me to hear the diversity from the pool of candidates presented. Some as close as Mexico, some from Canada, others far from the Philippines. I heard Nigeria, Venezuela, Ukraine, Denmark. For most of you, these were the places of your birth. Now you leave as citizens of the United States of America. In this accomplishment, you have exercised that most fundamental of American rights, choice. Born and raised in another country, you have taken many different paths and have so many different stories, but each of you has freely chosen to now become a United States citizen. Not only that, you made another choice to do so in the great state of Alaska. In making this choice a reality, you have also demonstrated another fundamental American quality, the willingness to work for what you want. Looking back, this is the culmination of that journey, and your success should be celebrated. But that truly is only half of today's story. You have worked hard to earn the rights of citizenship, to speak and to worship freely, to vote. Having chosen to become a citizen, you have also accepted these responsibilities of citizenship. I know that each of you has heard and learned of these responsibilities, the obligation to participate, to protect our country, and to vote. To this point, however, those have been merely words and ideas. Today is the time to put those words into action. Each of you have just sworn an oath accepting these responsibilities. Now you have another choice and the opportunity to put your newly earned rights into action. Most of us who perform this ceremony emphasize the important and crucial responsibility of voting. To do so, you must register. It is a fundamental right, but it is also a fundamental responsibility. I know all too many people born in this country who have never voted, and there may be some even in my family. Most often they say that their vote does not matter. How ridiculous a statement. Of course it matters, and all the more so these days. Most often they say that they just did not have the time. I do not accept this as an excuse for performing a critical and fundamental responsibility of anyone's citizenship. And in just a couple of moments, you'll have the opportunity to register to vote. And we need each and every one of you to please do so, to accept that responsibility for which you have just sworn to uphold. Your intention or willingness to vote is not enough. You must register to vote, and when given the opportunity, you must make good on that oath you have just taken for all elections, big or small. I'd like to mention another fundamental responsibility that you have accepted. I've been doing this, as I said, over the past couple of years, and I try to change things up a little bit. And honestly, this is one of the ones that has given me the hardest time in figuring out what to change. But given today's headlines, it strikes me that the fundamental responsibility I want to talk to you about is tolerance. Given the headlines of today, it strikes me that tolerance of other people's opinions or ideas in particular has somehow come to be seen as a sign of weakness. That disagreement or dissent is somehow a personal challenge and affront. Watching the news or reading the internet, it's easy to think that tolerance has become a lost virtue. But bringing it back to this ceremony and your new citizenship, this concept of tolerance is such an important part of the birth of this country, and in fact remains woven into this ceremony itself. Again, we must never forget that America is born of immigrants, and today you continue that great heritage. Looking from where you have come, from so many different countries, from so many different paths, and so many different cultures, so many different faiths. As we begin to approach the end of winter, and as you leave this ceremony, going forward to spring, into Alaska, into the wild to fish, as was mentioned, to get the salmon, and to interact with others, we must all remind ourselves, whenever and wherever, however, we have become citizens, that we are all one country, and we must continue to honor others' choices, their ideas, their faiths, their past and cultures. We carry that with us, and it benefits everyone. Susan Rice, former National Security Advisor and former Ambassador to the United Nations, noted in a speech at yet another naturalization ceremony last year that we Americans do not fear difference. We celebrate it. In the interwoven world of the 21st century, our diversity is a profound source of strength and renewal. I could not agree more. 2 years ago, shortly before I presided over one of these ceremonies, CNN ran a story about the most diverse places in America. It spoke of a place where you heard 7 languages on a bus, none of which was English, and where you could purchase dried squid, sambal oelek, chili paste, corn, Australian mutton, and canned grass jelly in one store. Most people assume that this neighborhood was in a big city such as New York, Chicago, or San Francisco. But as Mr. Parsi has indicated, the truth is the neighborhood is just a stone's throw away from where we sit today, Mountain View. The CNN article confirmed what we who live here know, that we have some of the most diverse areas in this country. This is our community and our strength. I look out and see so many stories that are to be added now to what is America. I look forward with great anticipation to see what you will add to it, and to learning from you and others along the way as we share each other's past. So I thank you, our newest citizens, for providing me and others the opportunity to reflect on the need of virtue and the gift of citizenship. I hope that each of you will go forward and spread the seeds of tolerance for all of this country. But I will again close by challenging to put your newfound citizenship into action by registering today in the moment to come. I hope that each and every one of you will do so as your first step to becoming active citizens who will carry the joy and happiness of this day forward with you for many years to come. Again, congratulations and welcome, my fellow citizens. So we open up the ceremony talking about pictures, and we'll close with it talking about pictures. There's a custom here that the judge, and usually the guest speaker, if so inclined, will remain for pictures in front of the flag for any of the citizens that would want to come in and have a picture taken to commemorate this day. So we'll line up and we'll be here to as many as you would like to do so. But with that, Madam Clerk, we are adjourned.
All right. This matter stands adjourned and court stands adjourned subject